Many men misunderstand what it means when a woman shares her problems. They immediately assume she wants solutions, advice, or for them to fix things. That's a mistake. Women often share their struggles not because they need you to solve them, but because they want to connect, feel heard, and experience emotional presence. Understanding this is crucial for building attraction, respect, and a deeper connection. Responding with the wrong approach can push her away, while responding correctly can make you unforgettable. This is where Stoicism comes in. A Stoic mindset allows a man to remain calm, composed, and grounded while listening. It gives you the ability to provide presence, not pressure, support, not overreaction. Women are drawn to men who can hold their frame, stay emotionally steady, and offer calm engagement rather than chaos or panic. When she opens up, she's often testing your emotional intelligence, your ability to manage her energy, and your capacity to provide validation without losing yourself in the process. By mastering how to respond when a woman shares her problems, you create a dynamic where she feels safe, respected, and understood. She remembers the man who doesn't overreact, the one who listens, and the one who allows her to express herself without judgment. This approach builds attraction, trust, and emotional connection naturally. In this video, we'll break down 7 key ways a Stoic man responds when a woman shares her struggles, why it works psychologically, and how it positions him as a man of high value in the modern dating world. 1. Listens without interrupting. The first way a Stoic man responds when a woman shares her problems is by listening without interrupting. Many men make the mistake of immediately offering solutions, opinions, or advice, thinking that fixing her problem is the key to connection. The truth is, most women don't want that. They want to feel heard and understood. When a man interrupts or jumps in with his perspective, it signals that he prioritizes his own thoughts over hers. That diminishes attraction and can make her feel undervalued. Listening without interrupting demonstrates patience, respect, and emotional control. A Stoic man understands that his primary role in these moments is to hold space. He allows her to express herself fully, to vent, and to release the tension or frustration she's feeling. By staying present and attentive, he shows that he is comfortable with emotional intensity without being overwhelmed. That composure is rare, and women notice it immediately. It conveys strength and stability, qualities that create trust and admiration. This kind of listening also engages her on a deeper psychological level. When she sees that you aren't rushing to solve or judge, she relaxes, knowing that her feelings are valid and safe. The more she feels this safety, the more she associates you with calmness and reliability. Over time, that association builds attraction because she begins to trust not only your words, but your energy. A Stoic man also balances attentiveness with presence. He doesn't need to display exaggerated empathy or overreact emotionally. Instead, he maintains a grounded demeanor, responding with calm nods, thoughtful silence, or subtle acknowledgement that he understands. This reinforces the perception that he is stable, dependable, and capable of handling life's challenges, including the emotional ones she brings to him. Importantly, listening without interrupting is not passive. It's active engagement through observation, eye contact, and subtle affirmations. It's about signaling that you are fully present without taking control. Women are naturally drawn to men who can create that balance because it allows them to open up without feeling the need to manage the man's emotional state in return. By consistently practicing this form of Stoic listening, you build a foundation of emotional safety. She begins to remember you as the man who can handle intensity without losing composure, the one who validates without judgment, and the one who makes her feel understood. That memory alone strengthens attraction, trust, and long-term interest. Listening without interruption is simple. Yet it is one of the most powerful tools a man can use to leave a lasting impression on a woman when she shares her problems. 2. Avoids offering unwanted solutions. The second way a stoic man responds when a woman shares her problems is by avoiding the temptation to offer solutions unless she asks. Most men feel compelled to fix things, believing that their advice demonstrates value, competence, or care. But women rarely approach a man to be fixed. They approach him to be heard, supported, and validated. Jumping in with solutions too quickly can unintentionally signal that you are dismissing her emotions or rushing the process, which diminishes trust and connection. A stoic man understands the distinction between offering help and imposing it. He recognizes that listening itself is a form of support, often more powerful than any practical advice. By restraining the impulse to solve, he demonstrates patience, emotional intelligence, and respect for her autonomy. That restraint shows her that you are confident enough to allow her space and capable enough to handle her emotions without needing to control the outcome. Women notice this rare balance immediately. It communicates value and maturity in a way that words often cannot. Offering unwanted solutions can also trigger resistance or frustration. When she is in the process of expressing her emotions, solutions can feel like an interruption or a judgment. She may start to shut down, feel misunderstood, or test your patience further. The Stoic approach prevents this by allowing her to vent and process her feelings naturally. You become the calm anchor in her emotional storm, and that calmness leaves a psychological imprint she cannot easily forget. It's important to note that restraint doesn't mean disengagement. A stoic man stays engaged through attentive body language, subtle affirmations, and occasional clarifying questions. He shows that he is mentally present and emotionally accessible without taking control of the conversation. This combination of attentiveness and non-intrusion makes her feel respected and safe, which deepens attraction and encourages her to continue sharing. Another reason avoiding unsolicited solutions works is that it shifts the dynamic from one of dependency to one of mutual respect. Women are drawn to men who can hold their own emotional center while validating hers. By resisting the urge to fix, you communicate strength and independence. She sees that you are not desperate for her approval and that your value is not contingent on solving her problems. This makes her respect and appreciate you on a deeper level because you are operating from a position of calm authority rather than insecurity. When she reflects on the interaction later, she remembers the man who listened, who didn't rush to solve, and who allowed her to express herself fully. That memory builds subconscious attachment because it links her feelings of emotional safety and understanding to your presence. Women naturally gravitate toward men who can provide this stability, and those who master the art of listening without offering unsolicited solutions become unforgettable in her mind. 3. Validates her feelings. The third way a stoic man responds when a woman shares her problems is by validating her feelings. Validation doesn't mean you have to agree with everything she says. It simply means acknowledging her emotions as real and understandable. Many men underestimate the power of validation. They assume that disagreement or silence will make them appear strong, but in reality, failing to validate a woman's feelings often creates distance and frustration. Women are drawn to men who recognize their emotions without judgment because it communicates respect, emotional intelligence, and maturity. Validation works on a deep psychological level. When you acknowledge a woman's feelings, you are signaling that her inner world matters to you. This doesn't require long explanations or excessive empathy. It can be as simple as nodding, saying, "I understand why you feel that way," or offering a calm, reflective comment. The goal is to let her feel heard and understood, which activates trust and connection. When she senses that her emotions are recognized rather than dismissed, she feels safe sharing more, deepening intimacy naturally. A stoic man combines validation with composure. He doesn't overreact, dramatize, or become emotionally entangled. Instead, he maintains a calm presence while acknowledging her feelings. This balance is rare and magnetic because it allows her to experience emotional safety without feeling the need to manage or rescue the man she is confiding in. Women remember the men who can do this because it creates a unique combination of strength and empathy, an energy that is both reassuring and attractive. Validation also shifts the dynamic from conflict to collaboration. Rather than positioning yourself as a critic or problem solver, you position yourself as a steady, emotionally intelligent partner. She sees that you can handle emotional intensity without destabilizing, which encourages her to invest more emotionally. By reinforcing that her feelings are valid, you deepen psychological connection and strengthen subconscious attachment. Importantly, validation doesn't require constant verbal affirmation. A stoic man uses nonverbal cues effectively. Eye contact, body language, and gentle acknowledgement communicate that he is present and engaged. These subtle actions reinforce her sense of being heard, creating a lasting emotional imprint. Women remember not just what you say, but how your energy made them feel. Finally, validation builds respect. Women are drawn to men who can navigate emotional terrain without judgment or insecurity. When she recalls the man who consistently recognized her emotions while remaining composed, she remembers strength paired with sensitivity. That memory makes you unforgettable because few men can achieve the balance of listening, validating, and maintaining their own emotional center. A stoic approach to validation creates deep connection, attraction, and long-term memorability. 4. Maintains calm under emotional intensity. The fourth way a stoic man responds when a woman shares her problems is by maintaining calm under emotional intensity. Many men panic, overreact, or try to fix the situation immediately, which inadvertently escalates tension. Women, however, are drawn to men who can remain grounded, composed, and steady even when emotions are high. Calmness signals strength, reliability, and control, qualities that women respect deeply. When a man maintains his composure, he creates an environment where she feels safe to express herself without fear of judgment or chaos. Maintaining calm doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means controlling your own emotional reactions while staying present and attentive. A stoic man listens actively, nods, and provides subtle affirmations, all while keeping his energy stable. Women notice the difference between a man who loses control and one who can absorb their intensity without being destabilized. That calm energy becomes a psychological anchor for her, making interactions feel secure, predictable, and emotionally satisfying. This approach also demonstrates high emotional intelligence. She can test your composure, intentionally or not, to see whether you are capable of handling vulnerability. A stoic response communicates that you are emotionally mature and not easily shaken by her feelings. That impression is powerful because women remember men who can hold their ground while allowing her to express herself fully. Calmness paired with attentiveness is rare, which makes you stand out immediately. Calmness also prevents unnecessary conflict. When men react impulsively to emotional intensity, they risk creating arguments or misunderstandings. By staying grounded, a stoic man diffuses tension and encourages productive dialogue. She experiences a sense of safety, knowing that her emotions will not trigger drama or unpredictable reactions. Over time, this consistency builds respect and deep emotional connection. Furthermore, maintaining calm reinforces attraction. Women subconsciously associate emotional stability with competence, leadership, and high value. When she recalls a man who handled her emotional moments with composure, she experiences feelings of trust, admiration, and intrigue. That combination of calm and engagement makes her remember him long after the interaction. A stoic man also sets boundaries subtly through calmness. He demonstrates that he can be present without being consumed by her energy, showing that he values himself while valuing her. That balance of attentiveness and self-assurance is unforgettable because it contrasts sharply with men who overreact, chase validation, or become emotionally overwhelmed. Ultimately, calmness under emotional intensity creates a lasting impression because it blends strength, patience, and emotional intelligence. Women remember the man who provides stability amidst their emotional storms, the one who listens, validates, and maintains his energy. This skill is a cornerstone of attraction and positions a man as someone rare, reliable, and high value, capable of creating deep emotional connection without losing composure. 5. Responds, not reacts. The fifth way a stoic man responds when a woman shares her problems is by responding thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Many men fall into the trap of reacting emotionally, getting defensive, offering unsolicited advice, or becoming frustrated. Women quickly notice these reactions, and it diminishes their trust and attraction. A stoic man understands the power of measured responses. He listens fully, processes the situation internally, and then communicates in a way that is calm, composed, and constructive. This creates a strong emotional impression because it demonstrates self-control, maturity, and high value. Responding rather than reacting requires discipline. It means resisting the urge to immediately solve, judge, or argue. Instead, a stoic man considers the emotional and psychological context before speaking. Women appreciate this approach because it validates their experiences while maintaining a sense of safety. She knows that she can express herself without fear of triggering volatility or instability. That consistency creates trust and strengthens her emotional connection to you. Thoughtful responses also enhance attraction. When a man responds with insight, reassurance, or calm guidance, it signals competence and intelligence. He communicates that he can handle complex situations without losing composure. Women are drawn to this energy because it combines strength with empathy, creating a rare dynamic that feels both secure and engaging. Responding thoughtfully makes you memorable because it is uncommon. Many men either overreact or remain passive, failing to create meaningful emotional engagement. A stoic response also encourages her to open up more. When she realizes that her problems are met with understanding rather than impulsive reactions, she feels safe sharing deeper thoughts and emotions. This deepens intimacy, builds subconscious attachment, and positions you as a man who can handle vulnerability without being destabilized. Over time, she associates your presence with emotional safety, reliability, and trustworthiness, which strengthens attraction significantly. Another important element is timing and tone. A stoic man responds calmly without raising his voice or displaying impatience. He maintains a measured, steady tone, even if the content of the conversation is emotionally charged. That energy reinforces his stability and self-assurance, signaling that he is in control of himself and the interaction. Women remember this because it contrasts sharply with men who are reactive or emotionally volatile. Finally, responding rather than reacting creates a lasting psychological imprint. She recalls the man who could absorb her emotions, remain composed, and communicate thoughtfully. That memory becomes a standard against which she measures other men. Women are drawn to men who consistently demonstrate this balance because it combines reliability, intelligence, and emotional strength, traits that are rare, magnetic, and unforgettable. 6. Offers presence, not solutions. The sixth way a Stoic man responds when a woman shares her problems is by offering presence rather than solutions. Women often do not seek advice or quick fixes when they open up. They seek a man who can be fully present with them, who can listen without judgment, and who can hold space for their emotions. A Stoic man understands this distinction. He prioritizes his energy, attention, and calm engagement over giving unsolicited guidance. That presence itself becomes a powerful tool of connection and attraction. Offering presence requires focus and restraint. It means setting aside the instinct to problem solve, to lecture, or to fix the situation. Instead, a Stoic man commits to being emotionally available without being pulled into her turbulence. Women notice this deeply because it signals emotional stability and maturity. When she speaks, she feels the weight of your attentiveness, which communicates value far more than any advice could. This creates a sense of safety, trust, and respect, which are the pillars of lasting attraction. Presence is not passive. It is active engagement. A Stoic man maintains eye contact, nods thoughtfully, and uses subtle cues to demonstrate understanding. He allows silence when necessary, letting her process her feelings while remaining grounded. He mirrors her energy without becoming consumed by it, creating balance. Women remember men who can do this because it shows strength and confidence. They are not forced to manage your emotional reactions while sharing their own. Being present also fosters emotional intimacy. By holding space for her emotions without trying to control them, you encourage her to open up further. This deepens the connection, making your interactions emotionally meaningful and psychologically impactful. Women are naturally drawn to men who make them feel truly heard, validated, and supported without the pressure of being fixed. Over time, this presence forms a lasting impression that she carries in her mind. Another aspect is patience. A Stoic man recognizes that emotional sharing is a process, not a task to complete. By offering consistent presence, he demonstrates reliability, grounding, and respect for her inner world. She experiences the feeling of being valued without manipulation, which increases admiration and attachment. That memory sticks because it combines emotional impact with stability, a combination rarely experienced with other men. Ultimately, offering presence rather than solutions leaves a lasting impression because it prioritizes connection over control. Women remember the man who could sit with them, absorb their energy, and respond with calm attentiveness. That energy communicates maturity, reliability, and high value, making you unforgettable in her mind. Presence is the hallmark of a Stoic man who understands how to engage emotionally without losing his composure, creating lasting attraction and respect. 7. Provides calm guidance when asked. The seventh way a Stoic man responds when a woman shares her problems is by providing calm guidance, but only when she asks for it. Unlike impulsive advice giving, which can push her away, calm guidance is offered thoughtfully, respectfully, and without pressure. Women are drawn to men who can step into this role selectively because it signals wisdom, competence, and self-control. By waiting for her to invite guidance, you demonstrate patience, respect for her autonomy, and awareness of her emotional needs, qualities that leave a lasting impression. Calm guidance is rooted in clarity and composure. When a woman requests your input, a Stoic man delivers it concisely, without lecturing or over-explaining. His tone is steady, his suggestions practical, and his approach solution-oriented rather than critical. This method reassures her that your advice comes from a place of support, not control. Women remember men who can offer guidance in this way because it provides emotional relief and perspective without diminishing her agency or creating tension. Timing is critical. A Stoic man never interjects unsolicited advice, but waits until she explicitly seeks his opinion. That restraint demonstrates self-confidence and emotional intelligence. She recognizes that you respect her process and trust her judgment, which fosters admiration and trust. When guidance is given thoughtfully, she associates it with calm, dependable energy rather than frustration or pressure. This strengthens attachment and makes interactions more meaningful. Providing calm guidance also reinforces your role as a stable, high-value man. Women instinctively notice men who can balance presence and support with discernment and patience. By giving input only when asked, you signal that you are secure in your abilities, but do not need to dominate the conversation or control outcomes. That energy communicates strength without aggression, wisdom without arrogance, and care without dependency, qualities that are deeply memorable. Furthermore, calm guidance encourages her to reflect on her own thinking while feeling supported. She experiences the combination of validation, safety, and perspective, which creates psychological resonance. That resonance reinforces her positive perception of you and solidifies emotional attachment. She remembers not only the advice, but the way it was delivered, calmly, confidently, and respectfully, because it left her feeling empowered rather than criticized. Ultimately, a stoic man's ability to provide calm guidance when asked is one of the most powerful tools for building attraction and memorability. Women remember the man who balances presence with selective input, who respects their process, and who communicates with composure and clarity. That combination of emotional intelligence, patience, and stability creates a lasting imprint in her mind. She carries the memory of how you made her feel, heard, respected, and guided, long after the conversation ends. This approach positions you as a rare, high-value man capable of deep emotional connection without losing composure or authority. Women never forget the men who respond to their problems with stoic composure, patience, and emotional intelligence. When a woman shares her struggles, she isn't always seeking solutions. She's seeking presence, understanding, and validation. A stoic man knows how to provide that. He listens without interrupting, avoids offering unwanted solutions, validates her feelings, maintains calm under emotional intensity, responds thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, offers presence rather than control, and provides calm guidance only when asked. Each of these behaviors communicates stability, respect, and high value, creating a lasting emotional impression. By embodying these principles, a man positions himself as someone rare and unforgettable. Women remember the energy he brings, not just the words he speaks. They remember how safe, understood, and valued they felt in his presence. That emotional resonance creates attachment and admiration that persist long after the conversation ends. The Stoic approach ensures that interactions are meaningful, balanced, and psychologically impactful. Mastering this mindset isn't about manipulation or clever tactics. It's about cultivating self-control, emotional intelligence, and authenticity. When you consistently respond in this way, you demonstrate strength, reliability, and value without overcomplicating interactions. Women naturally gravitate toward men who create this dynamic because it fulfills their need for safety, respect, and connection. By practicing Stoicism in your responses, you leave a permanent impression, building attraction and trust that can turn ordinary interactions into powerful, memorable bonds.